What is that?
Catch me outside. Check, 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 checkity, check.
Look at us.
You need to leave.
Wow. All right.
Are we?
Yeah. Okay. Welcome. All right. Welcome to Green Light and Banter.
How do?
Hey, so today is October 15th, 2024.
Year of our Lord.
Yep, it is. I'm never quite sure of the date anymore. It seems to pass too quickly.
Indeed, so.
Today would be our episode number 35. I'm 90% confident in that.
And I'm 60% confident, and you're 90%.
Really?
Yeah.
That's amazing. So today we're going to delve into a little bit of our, I don't know if you can see our background.
Checker Neyland. Go Vols.
Yep. So historic Neyland Stadium.
Yes, it was a grand time.
It was? When?
Last weekend when they had it checkered.
Oh. Yeah. I don't know what this, when this image was taken, but it almost looks fake.
It's not fake.
It's a little too good.
We do it right.
It's a little too white. It's a little too orange.
You have zero faith in anything on the internet.
Yeah. Well, it's probably a smart idea.
It's an idea.
Honestly. So today our topic is
No clue.
it's
I'm assuming something Tennessee related.
yeah, we're going to talk about Tennessee football.
Okay. All right.
The University of Tennessee football.
Yes, not the Titan mess.
Not Tennessee Titans. I'm not even sure. Are they playing this year?
Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. I've watched 0 NFL games.
Yeah, it's not a good product anymore. I don't
0.
know. Yeah.
0. All right, so we're almost at a timer.
Short and sweet.
Yep. You ready?
I am.
Go.
Hey.
So I thought we'd talk about Tennessee's 2024, the Volunteers season.
So far?
Yeah, and what's to come.
Okay.
I'm not sure if you know much about college sports
I
or
follow it.
college football.
I do follow it. Yes, sir.
So it's been an interesting season so far. I will say the first 3 games were not very challenging. However, we managed to score, 170 points?
Something like that.
And since then...
Offense has struggled.
Yeah. So what's the deal?
Well, it helps, not to put blame on anybody, but it helps if the offensive line can block.
Is that handy?
That does help. That does help the offense get into rhythm. I wonder right now if we're not seeing a bit of a freshman wall that Nico's hitting. I'm not saying by any stretch of the imagination that he's not up to the task. I think he's going to turn out to be one of the better quarterbacks we've had. It's just I think everybody hits a wall when they're young.
Well, I think one of the, and this is just my opinion. So the first 3 games, he didn't play a complete game.
Not one.
Yeah. So I can't understand why, because to me that would have been fantastic practice. He could have just lit it up. Now, maybe he didn't play the whole game because they scored nearly 70 points.
Yeah, and then, I mean, you got to look at if he would have left him in and got hurt, what the local fan base would be saying.
Yeah, score 100 points or...
Yeah, and then leaving Nico in to get injured. Yeah, no.
Is there a limit on what you can score?
No,
I mean, have you ever seen anybody score 100 points?
I haven't, but it's happened.
Do you think that's a little ridiculous?
Not for college, not for when NIL's in now and they're technically getting paid. It's not ridiculous. I mean, try to stop the people. I doubt they're leaving their starters in with they're up 90 points or something.
Yeah, but I mean, isn't there a little bit of sportsmanship in that? Where
Sportsmanship.
really? That's how you feel about it?
No, that's not how I feel. I'm a big believer in sportsmanship, but it never seems to be returned upon us.
I
So.
feel like you're really far away.
What do you want me to do about
Like
it?
you're as far away as you could possibly get with your microphone.
How's this now? I mean, heavens.
That's better.
Well, now I'm all tangled up here. Heavens and
God.
Betsy.
Oh Lord.
But no, it's been an interesting season so far. I do think overall we're seeing this is the first official season we're seeing the results of NIL and the transfer portal as far as parity. This is the first one I've really seen it.
Parody?
Yeah, I mean, Alabama losing to Vanderbilt. You got a lot of powerhouses have been struggling, and I think that's due to the fact that players are leaving these powerhouse schools when they're not getting played and going.
So they're fairly high recruits
Uh-huh.
at powerhouse schools. They're not playing, so they go to
Not lesser schools, but just schools where they'll get playing time.
right. So they really get to play, and
Yeah.
it's showing up.
Yeah.
I mean, I think a fantastic example of that would be Vandy's quarterback.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah,
He's pretty good.
he's pretty good. He's pretty cocky. I hope we.
Well, I think that's part of it.
I think we should slobber knock him.
Well, we'll see.
Knock his slobbers.
I mean, he can't win the game by himself. So
No, and I'm still not. I mean, Vandy's better, and I'm happy for them. I think that Clark Lee's a good coach. Seems to be a decent person.
where did he come from?
Vanderbilt. Where was it?
Was he born there?
So you meant where did he come from? Like born and raised?
He didn't.
How am I- how am I-
He didn't coach anywhere else.
I don't know. I don't know his history.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
I mean, I know he's at Vanderbilt.
Well, it's where he played.
He played there, but he just went from a player to the coach.
I don't know his track history.
I don't either. That's why I asked.
Well, I mean, I'm sure I can find out.
Okay. It doesn't matter.
Does it?
No. So this weekend,
Big time.
big game.
Big time.
I actually looked for a photograph of a very historic game, Tennessee-Alabama game, which took place in 1982 during the World's Fair.
You had to be there.
And so there's an aerial photo of the stadium jam-packed during the game, and you can see the fair going on.
That's a good picture.
Yeah.
Too bad you couldn't put it up there.
I couldn't find it, or I would have. That's what I just said.
Hogwash.
Well, I mean, I didn't look that long.
Balderdash.
Balderdash. I couldn't find it.
Flummery.
You're just making words up now?
That's not a made up word.
Spell it.
Flummere.
Use the word in a sentence.
You saying that you couldn't find that picture is straight up flummery.
Okay, it's all clear now.
It's nonsense.
Why have you never used that word before?
I think I've used it.
I've never heard it.
Do you keep record of the words I use? That's disheartening.
Especially the ones that are suspect.
What do you mean suspect?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know the word, so I have to doubt that it's actually a word.
Well, you got a phone right there.
Yeah, I know it's not that important.
Okay, all right.
So, remaining games, got a few big ones.
Yeah, Georgia, Alabama.
Anybody else look to pose any? I mean, we talked about Vandy. We have been beaten by Vandy.
We've been
in the
beaten by
recent-
Vandy and Kentucky fairly recently, but I think we're still going to win those.
Mississippi State. Didn't they gave Georgia a little bit this past weekend, right? Initially.
Yeah, but I'm still not worried.
Have you watched Georgia play?
They got flaws.
They're not a complete team this
Well,
year.
I mean, they've had players transfer. All that. I mean, parity's coming.
So do you think, with that being said, that makes college football a little better, whereas
Yes and no.
it's anybody's weekend?
That makes it better. No, for the fact that it's now the Wild West, which we're heavily involved in that also. As far
Aren't
as
we in the South though?
flummery. So the whole league's a Wild West now. I mean, it's hired guns, and which is fine. I'll get used to it. How I'm going to do it is I don't pay attention to recruiting anymore, any offseason stuff. I just root for the team that they field in the fall.
Yeah, I've always done that.
Well,
So I will say this. So some of our listeners may not know what this NIL is. Obviously, we're spelling it, but it's an acronym. It stands for name, image, and likeness. So a few years ago, the NCAA, the National Collegiate Athletic Association, finally determined that college athletes could be paid based upon those attributes, names, images, and likenesses. So before that, it was illegal. There was a lot of teams penalized in the past, titles taken away because
yeah.
these players were getting paid under the table in bags from McDonald's, maybe. But now it's legal. So some of the highest paid athletes in college sports, I don't know what they're making, over $100,000 a
yeah.
month.
Oh, yeah.
So they're making, some of them are making more money than the professional NFL football players, I guess.
Yeah. The league minimum, I'm sure, is less than $1 million.
It used to be like 200,000,
Yeah, I think it's
like 30 years
I
ago.
think it's like 600,000-700,000 now. But yeah, I mean the NIL, it's not yet used for name, image, and likeness. I mean, I wish.
No, it's not. It's coming from boosters, right?
Well, and it's going to recruits who've never played a down, like Nico. Love Nico, but he got that money before he ever left high school. He got the big,
Right, like Arch Manning.
Ideally, name, image, and likeness should be you come to school, you establish your worth, and then you get paid for your name, image, and likeness.
Yeah, but they're using it as recruiting.
It's used as a recruiting tool, which is not, hence the Wild West now.
Is that in the rules though?
No, there's no. I don't think there's many established.
So they need
rules.
to change what it's called.
I don't know how they can anymore. I don't know how they can change anything. The toothpaste is out of the tube. It's
You can't put it back?
well, I mean, what they're going to start this next year. All right, when you're coming in, you can't get paid. Well, then the players that are already here that got paid, there's going to be animosity.
Right. Well, what about the players who were penalized in the past for getting paid for things?
I don't know how they can go. But the only thing I've heard that they've gone back and corrected is giving Reggie Bush his Heisman back, which should have been done a long time ago. It's just,
But they never did let Pete Rose into the Hall of Fame,
no.
and now he's gone.
Yeah. If I was the Rose family, I'd tell them to kick rocks.
But he did get inducted into the Professional Wrestling Hall of Fame, I think.
He did. And several times our soon-to-be former county mayor, Tombstone pile driving. Stone pile.
Stone what?
I don't know. I got tongue tied.
Stone piled toothpaste.
Toothpaste in the back of the tube pile drive. But
All right. So another thing that's interesting this season is the new playoff.
12 team. Yep.
So we went from 4 teams
Yep.
to 12.
Yeah.
It seems like they're trying to figure out a way to get Tennessee out of the 12.
I mean, I've never been one that said they're trying to do anything to Tennessee. We're helping ourselves pretty well in that regard. we're doing the job for them. I mean, if we beat Alabama this weekend, all's well. But right now, we're just not playing.
I don't know. I mean, Alabama's what, number 8?
Yeah,
that's not a big win now. It's not as significant as it was.
It's a big win, regardless.
I mean, it's not like when Alabama beat Georgia when Georgia was number 1.
Right. Well, I don't understand your point.
Or when it's not as big of a win as when Vandy beat Alabama when they were number 2. Or were they number 1? They were number 1.
Yeah, and it will be a big win if we can beat Alabama. I don't care if they're.
I think it's a win.
So the number 8 ranked team, the only one loss.
You think it's a better win than beating a unranked Florida?
Absolutely, it would be a better win than beating an unranked Florida.
Now, who did Alabama play this past weekend?
They played. Dadgum you.
Because they won, but not
convincingly.
But their ranking didn't change.
No, they stayed the same.
What the game that I was happy to see was a conference game between new conference teams.
Texas, Oklahoma?
No, Ohio State, Oregon. Now, not a big Oregon fan, but I simply hate Ohio State.
They're the worst. I can't stand them.
So, let's talk about that. The Big Ten, which is now consists of 18 teams
40,
or 20-something.
30, 40 teams.
I think it's 20-something, isn't it?
No, it's not 20 yet. I don't know. I'll have to check.
The SEC's 18, right?
No.
16.
16.
I think it's 18 in the Big Ten. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Being a Big Ten school, let's just call it Big Ten, even though it's not 10.
Right.
Could they not think of a new name?
I think it's too late to come up with a new.
That's crazy.
There's too much money invested in the name.
So what I like about the Big Ten now is there's more than 2 teams, which is typically Michigan and Ohio State.
Yeah, it's a good squad. It's a good conference, but
although now you got Oregon,
yeah.
Washington,
I believe.
Or are they in the Athletic or the Atlantic Coast Conference?
No, they're not in the ACC yet.
Penn State's having a reasonable year.
Yeah.
Illinois or Indiana?
They're having a better year. Indiana's undefeated. They're ranked like 18th.
That's awesome. Mm-hmm. Glad to see some of those other schools. Iowa State is ranked pretty high. Now, what conference are they in?
I don't know. Big 10, Big 12. Who cares? It's Iowa State.
The Little Seven?
Yeah, I don't care.
Well, I mean, they're ranked ahead of us.
No. Are they?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, good for them. Who needs them?
Kick rocks.
Kick rocks.
Where is Ohio State?
Iowa State?
Iowa State.
Yeah.
Iowa?
That's relatively close to it.
Okay, what's their mascot?
Is it the what is Iowa? Cyclones?
Corn Devils?
I think the Cyclones.
Iowa State. Cyclones. I think you're right.
Yeah, I think it's the Cyclones.
I think you're right. I was going to say the Sun Devils, but that's
Arizona
State.
Yeah, which is on the same level as Iowa State. I don't care anything about those two programs.
What about Kansas State?
They've been a player for decades and all that, but still, it's a program I care. It does not move my needle.
Do you know what I cared about this weekend with Kansas State?
What?
They beat Colorado.
God bless Colorado. Never a more undeserving program of all its attention just because of
Can you say, "Look at me," any louder than Prime?
Dion. I will never call him Prime.
Coach Wine.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. But no,
He's making men out there.
is he?
Yeah, that's what I hear. I don't know.
He's making poo-poo.
So what about all the hype about Hunter?
From Colorado?
Yeah.
Good player. I'd like to see what he does in the pros. I wonder what position he'll play in the pros.
All of them?
He won't play both ways in the pros.
Does anybody play both ways in NFL?
Not anymore. I mean, used to, but no, you can't. There's not enough time.
So do you find it more impressive to play both sides on football or to play football and another sport?
I think I find it probably both sides in football.
More impressive than being
Yeah.
outstanding at football and baseball, or
Well, I mean, both are impressive. I don't know if one is more impressive than the other. I'm more impressed personally with being able to play both sides of the ball.
play the whole game?
Yeah.
I mean the whole
Yeah,
game.
that's called Iron Man football.
I think that was that used to be so much more prevalent.
Oh yeah, it used to be. I believe only the quarterback didn't play both ways.
He probably. Well, I guess you're right.
No, he didn't play both ways.
It's because they're soft.
They got bigger fish to fry when they're not on the field.
Like what?
Trying to
Frying fish for after the game?
yeah, fish fry.
Bigger fish to fry. That's a good saying.
Flummery.
So you're saying, like at a fish fry, come up and it's like, oh man, I got bigger fish to fry than that.
Let me go get them.
Put your little fish away.
They're in the cooler in the car. Let me go get them.
Let me get my big fish.
That's right.
To fry.
That's right.
All right. So where is the NCAA championship being played this year?
I don't know.
You don't?
I don't know the championship game. We don't know where it is.
So it'll be interesting because I suppose that the final 3 games will be like traditional games: Rose Bowl,
Yeah,
Sugar Bowl.
possibly. I mean, I don't know what this setup
Fiesta
is new.
Bowl.
The 12 team is new to me. I'm gonna have to wait to see what it is.
You hadn't looked ahead.
I don't study ahead.
But I mean, if I don't know if it'll happen now, but I mean, theoretically, we could have a playoff game here
yeah,
in Knoxville.
we still.
right?
It's still. I mean, we've only got one loss. It's still possible.
So there's only a few teams that don't have losses
Yeah.
currently. What Texas is number 1 with no losses.
Yeah.
Ohio State's lost. Alabama, Georgia's lost.
Oregon doesn't have a loss.
They don't.
No,
Indiana,
but
they don't count.
they're gonna have a loss or two. So
So they'll have to play Michigan and
yeah,
Ohio State, Penn State.
yeah.
Well, maybe not, since there's like 30 teams.
They're going to have a couple, 2-3 losses.
One of the things that I find interesting is that Tennessee is the only school that plays Alabama and Georgia every year. Not anymore?
Auburn's always played Alabama and Georgia.
Oh, they don't count.
I hope my dad hears that when my mom plays this.
That Auburn doesn't count?
Yeah.
Does your dad like Auburn?
He's an Auburn grad.
That doesn't mean anything.
He loves Auburn.
Well, I'm glad that he has a reason to be an Auburn fan.
He's an Auburn grad and a Tennessee grad, so he comes by his Alabama hate pure.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, I like somebody who has credentials in their fandom.
I do too.
I don't like uncredentialed fans.
Uncredentialed fans.
Yeah, it's like, okay, you're an Auburn fan. What's your
What's your connection to
Yeah.
them?
How are you tied?
Well, I like them back when they had Cam Newton. That don't count. It's like Bama fans around here. And
Bandwagon?
y'all know who you are out there.
There's plenty of them.
There's plenty of parents who have failed this community by allowing their kids to pick whatever team they want.
But there's also a lot of Georgia fans, too.
Yeah, that's a growing number.
Wait,
and
I wonder why.
I'm watching you all, parents, that allow your kids to just pick teams. Back when I was young, being called a front runner, it's worse than being called a racist, I think.
No.
Oh, when I was a kid, to be called a front runner, I picked my teams based solely on losing, except for Tennessee, because I live in Knoxville. But at the time, I picked the Yankees. They were terrible. They were last place team in the 80s. You can look it up. I picked the Cubs. They were terrible. Detroit Lions, terrible. I was so paranoid about. I had friends in the 90s that rooted for. Oh, I'm a Cowboys fan. I'm a Braves fan. I'm a Bulls fan. It's like, wait, you nerd.
Wait, it was because they're winning the World Series?
Yeah, they're winning titles. Yeah, okay, that's an easy one to pick. Front runners.
Is that so? That's what a front runner is.
That's a front runner. Somebody that picks
Bandwagon.
bandwagon jumper. They're the same ones that now that Alabama's going to come back to the pack, they're going to leap off of Alabama and go on to somebody else. You're not good fans.
There'll be so many Tennessee fans.
You're full of flummery.
Yeah, I mean, I was told who my school was.
Well, my dad wanted me to. He didn't want to force Auburn on me. He figured since we're living here, and my friends would be rooting for Tennessee. He said, "Yeah." So, and he was a Tennessee, guys, graduates and masters. So, Tennessee's my number one team, but I do root for Auburn just because of the family ties to them. But Tennessee, by far, is my number one team.
I mean, how can you root for more than one team?
Well, it's easy when one was in the East and one was in the West. But whenever Tennessee and Auburn would play each other, I'd root for Tennessee, no problem. Now, he was wrong. He hasn't been wrong about much. The fact that I would want to pick teams that my friends picked, because nothing was better to me than picking teams my friends against my friends, and that way I could get into arguments with them. Like every one of my friends picked the Braves. I hated the Braves my whole life, and I hated them because all my friends were Braves fans. So I'd rather get in arguments with my friends.
I never really concerned myself with what other people liked.
Well, I would purposely pick teams that I could get. I'd rather be in an argument with my friends than back in the day than sit and just relax with my friends. It's more fun to argue with them because they would get mad.
I can see that.
Yeah, they would get very mad at me. Not say things I don't mean, and then
So that was your prep work for being infamous on Twitter.
Well, I used to be infamous on Twitter. Now I'm just
Hey, look at there.
But I've lost my fastball severely on Twitter.
You're out of practice.
I hadn't been banned from social media in several years now.
Well, maybe you've matured and you've learned to use that energy in positive ways.
Well, I also learned that, especially when the Evil Empire bought us at the old place, that they check your social medias.
Yeah, I've always strived to be positive and uplifting in my posts.
Me too.
Really? I mean, you could go back and look. There are some that are probably, there's some posts where I'm upset about the state of things and this, that, or the other, but never like condemning.
I've never condemned, but I've trolled.
No, never trolled.
I
don't like that.
What, are you judging me?
I should not have to worry when I make a post that some moron is just going to, somebody's going to be like, oh, maybe do. Okay. So, I shouldn't have to worry about that.
Well, you shouldn't get mad at something some random dude says on Twitter.
Well, I don't. I know I just ignore it.
But I, when those people back in the day, when I'd get them to finally say stuff about me or my family, like hateful stuff, I'm like,
I won.
I got you. I got
That
you.
was your goal?
I've ruined your little nook for this 20-minute interval. It's a good feeling. It was a good feeling.
I just don't have time for that.
I don't have time for it anymore either. But back in the day, yeah. No, when Vol Twitter, it's such a shame that it exists like it does today and not.
It's not what it used to be.
Well, I wish it was now what I used to be then. Well, I would have been a Vol Twitter legend.
You can now that Twitter is no longer.
Yeah, you can, but I don't have it in me anymore. I don't have.
Listen,
that.
let me tell you this. I got an email, and we're going to wrap this. So there's a app. It's called Strava, and it's a fitness app. So you can have it on your phone, your smartwatch, whatnot. So you track, like you go out for a run. It tracks your run. It shows you, your heart rate, all these things. Well, on the trails have names, different names, like Sharps Ridge. You got Sharp Shin. You got Fire Break, right? Somebody named the trail. So I got an email from them the other day about their community standards. I had violated the community standards. And I was like, what are they talking about? So I go back and look at my posts. There's nothing I see. And I replied, I was like, I'm not sure what you're talking about. I've looked at my posts, recent posts. I don't see anything. I've not been that active. So they sent me what it was about. It was from 2015.
You see?
2015. And so I looked up what it was, and all I did was it was a segment. So part of the run that I did, which was 30 some miles, like a quarter-mile segment, it had the name of the trail segment. I didn't name it. Now, it was something anatomical body part, right? I didn't name it. And secondly, it was from 2015. And then also, it was private. It wasn't even shared. So nobody could see it but me. And so I sent that information back to them, and they said, oh, we've reviewed everything, and you're good. We'll use this instance to make it better for everyone. So somebody's sitting around looking at posts from 10 years ago.
Look what happened to old Casey. Casey Funderburg.
Yeah, well,
that was from when she was like 14.
That's ridiculous.
13 or 14. If I had, thank goodness, Twitter and all that wasn't around when we were that age.
Right.
Because if there was record of things I said back when I was that young.
Yeah, but someone recently said something about people that age are stupid.
Yeah.
Well, you're still trying to figure out what's appropriate and what's not appropriate.
You're still learning social constructs.
Yeah. Could we have a little grace?
No, grace.
Maybe we just use a paddle and,
Maybe.
Move on. Don't do it again.
Yep.
All right, James. Well, it's been fun.
Later.
Boy, you didn't waste any time. Later, skater.